And CNN, the same group that's in the airports, the bars, that pays to be on air, there they are.
Yep, this was a propagandist film project for the FBI. And who was the director? Who was the filmmaker? CNN. CNN claims that they got a tip. CNN claims that they knew to be there somehow. Why doesn't CNN release the source of that tip? Why don't they tell
CNN gets producer credit in Roger Stone's SWAT team raid. Science has proven what the ancients documented and knew in their hearts. There are all these universes and worlds and systems around us that aren't perceivable to the eye, but are to the soul. And when I say that I've cut my own life loose, that of my family, it's not that I don't love them more than ever. It's that in cutting them loose, I hit the next level of love. In not giving into the fear, not giving into the bullying, understanding there's things bigger than just this life, and that we've gotten in this position because the average man just wants to act cool in front of other men and make more money, and the average woman wants to do the same thing, act cool in front of women and have status. It's not real status, it's fake. Real will built civilization. Real guts built everything we've got. And I see the average man today, and I don't think of myself as a tough guy, and compared to, it's true, my grandfathers and their grandfathers, they weren't trying to act manly. They were men. But they lived in a different age when everybody was basically a man, so there wasn't a big problem. They were strong. They were focused. They weren't controlled by what other people said. They had a rudder. They had a North Star. And I see us losing our ancestral strength. I see us losing our will. And I see people bowing and cowering, and I see that group of cowardly reporters, over 1,000 of them, one of the biggest press conferences. We've got to look it up, but I've never seen anything like it. I think it's the biggest one ever. I mean, there's more damn reporters out at one gaggle than you'd see at the royal wedding. And it was them. I talked to Roger. He said, yeah, no, it was the BuzzFeeds and all of them howling and screaming, calling me a Russian agent, right in front of everyone, stealing his speech, so afraid of what he might say. But they had to be there because he was the sacrificial lamb, the total penultimate trigger for the takedown of Trump. And now here we are, and they couldn't get what they wanted. Jacob Ingalls, syndicated reporter, Twitter, Jacob Ingalls at Twitter, CentralFloridaPost.com. I don't know how to describe how archetypal, how epic, how illustrative it is to have. We're on air with him for 30 minutes. I said, when you go out there, they're going to shut you down. Talk about the attack on free speech. He goes out. They won't let him talk. He leaves. No press other than DrudgeReport.com picks us up. It's the discipline of the so-called press, but they're not the press. What would you call them? Killers of truth, killers of language, false narrative projectors? What are they?
They're activist propagandists. These are people who would have been the first hires for Joseph Goebbels as he was appointed Reich Minister of Propaganda in 1933 Germany. These people are not fair. They're not fair-minded. They're political hacks. They're rubbing elbows with the Mueller team. They're infested by that corrupt swamp that Trump is trying to drain and having a very hard time doing so. They're not legitimate. Yet they go on news and they go, on today's news, acting like they're Walter Cronkite, and then they want to say that you are fake news, that I'm fake news. No, I tell it how I feel and how I see it. If people
so what they are is they're followers, they're regurgitators, they're repeaters.
Yes, they're repeaters is a great word for them. They repeat everything that they hear from the deep state, from government operators and controllers, deep state minders. They don't have a single independent thought of their own.
So Roger is in the clutches, and he's a tough guy. But with 7 charges, we could tabulate up what he's facing, decades in jail for no Russiagate, for supposedly lying to Congress when it's very clear he didn't. He said, yeah, I was talking to an intermediary to WikiLeaks. I mean, here's the problem. I've said this 1,000 times. The truth doesn't matter to these people. I was there. Everyone wanted WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks was all cool. Assange was cool then. On every major news channel, he wouldn't talk to us. Stone knew Credico and a bunch of others. He does, he works the media. He was trying to get a hold. And I remember saying, Roger, get Assange or you interview him. It would be bigger. Find out what's in it. Well, I hear it's really big. I hear all this. I was there. he was asking for a job. And I said, you get me Julian Assange exclusive, you've got your job. And back then he was a Fox News contributor, paid $50,000 a year. He didn't want to make a big deal out of that. They've got hundreds of people on the payroll as a contributor. As soon as he worked for us, he lost his job at Fox. But I was hiring a Fox News contributor. You know, of course he used to work and write for Lou Dobbs at CNN. So I'm getting the bigwig anti-globalist guys hired. They turn that into this criminal thing we're involved in, and it's just like plastic banana, fake baloney, BS world. But what I'm getting at is we don't take it serious because we know it's not true, but then it happens, and 29 SWAT team people attack the house to make it look like it's legitimate. And now Roger's confident now, but my God, next week he gets arraigned like Manafort a year and a half ago, walking into that federal courthouse and never coming out again, man, except in a damn wheelchair. So you know, we're talking here, folks, about real persecution. And if this is a test, like a parrot test a perch, you know, put its beak on it, see if it can stand on its weight. If America fails this test, if Trump and Sarah Huckabee Sanders fails this test, if they fail this test, we're done. So I'm a big Trump booster, help get him in, I think he's a great guy. But right now, I'm 2x4 upside the head saying, listen, get in gear, honcho.
Yeah, Alex, and when I watch that footage that's being played behind you of the early morning raid by Robert Mueller, it reminds me of someone in the control center can pull it up. Let's pull up some footage of the pogroms. Let's pull up some footage of Kristallnacht.
Yeah, let's hear the audio. In fact, you start it over. Let's play the actual audio of them banging on the door. And thank God he showed up in 30 seconds, so they'd have kicked it in. And CNN, the same group that's in the airports, the bars, that pays to be on air, there they are.
Yep.
God, talk about any of the people.
It's sickening. When you put up private footage from
and I love how when you show up at a house, like in 5 seconds, you're not answering, I'm coming in, and thank God he got down there in 10 seconds, or they could have had even more. And it's like, you imagine being those guys that have, like, with drug cartels and real criminals and stuff, they're like going to some dude with no criminal records house, and they've got to play along with this, or their FBI bosses will fire them. And they're like, well, we got to do it. You know what? You're not Americans. I didn't sell out. I don't want to hear your crap. You'll go fight in some foreign country and kill Hajis all day because you're told to do it. But morally, you don't have courage. A lot of these guys, they're just idiots. Oh, they're real tough guys. You go pick on a Trump supporter.
Well, and that's the thing. You know, I think there's a moral and ethical obligation for anybody who is asked as a member of the FBI SWAT team and that team that was sent in. You know, if you're a true patriot, you would have declined to carry out that duty. I mean, it's clearly a trumped-up political charge. This is a witch hunt, and what they did is participate and contribute to it. So they are now collaborators, part of Robert Mueller's political persecution and witch hunt, and they are no different than he is right now because they are acting as an extension of him. So I understand they think they're doing their job, but
take the arrogance. They know they could have called. They would have picked him up. It was to make him look like a criminal. It's all incredibly transparent.
100%. This was a propagandist film project for the FBI. And who was the director? Who was the filmmaker? CNN. CNN claims that they got a tip. CNN claims that they knew to be there somehow. Why doesn't CNN release the source of that tip?
So CNN gets producer credit in Roger Stone's SWAT team raid.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is no different than Joseph Goebbels enlisting filmmakers in the Third Reich to make propaganda films like Triumph of the Will and The Eternal Jew, and then all of these horribly harmful things that helped propagate this idea about Jewish people and the rise of the Third Reich and Nazism. Robert Mueller is following the same playbook. He is using his police state arm and then coordinating with CNN to produce this film production of force and brutal action against a very peaceful man, Roger Stone, and his wife, who were asleep with their dogs, and they could have just picked up the phone.
All right, Jacob Ingalls, stay there. We're going to get you back on later in the show. I want to send you an external mic so we have better audio, but thank you for joining us. All right, final segment of this hour. Then we have a guest host. I'll be co-hosting. Then the War Room. I'll be co-hosting, and Roger Stone joins us again. Jacob Ingalls is welcome to join us again. Big recaps straight ahead. This is history happening right now. And I told you, Roger's in the crosshairs. Next, David Jones and Alex Jones. Ha, ha, ha. Yes. All right, Tom Pappert, TV station manager, co-host, great guy, is going to be hosting the next hour of the Alex Jones Show. And then the War Room's coming up with Owen Schroyer. Roger Stone will be back on exclusively. I want to open the phones up now. Now, we got 20-something phone lines. We actually have like 100, but I see 20 on screen. So it's the catch-22. I'll get to a lot of you. I won't get to some of you, but the toll-free number to join us today on this Friday global transmission is 877-789-2539, 877-789-2539, 877-789-ALEX. Now, let's just sit back and talk about what's really going on here right now. We've had foreign multinational corporations take over the United States back to 1921 with the founding of Pratt House in New York City. The British Empire had learned how to take over countries. It wasn't the British people. It was the elites they had. And they even funded the first talkies, the first talking movies in the 20s, where everyone had British accents, even if they weren't British. They called it an Atlantic accent. And they had the OSS Forum that became the CIA in 47. And so America inherited the British Empire and the corporate functions it had. And its job was to leverage or project or parlay that power into taking over China, Indochina, the Middle East, Africa, Latin America, everything. But the brain of that system was eugenicists set up in England, the U.S., and Europe that actually wanted to create a scientific dictatorship and get rid of the family. So you had the military doctrines, the corporate doctrines, the banking doctrines, but they only cared about numbers and property. But the cultural brain was leftist, left-hand path. Left hand rise above. And so at the end of the day, they were building the structure of power where these men just wanted power, but there was a spiritual implement that wanted to couple above it and have total control. And so that's where we are today on this planet. And that's why this thing has to be resisted no matter what happens to us individually, because it is a child-killing, aborting, planet-killing, murdering system that anything it does is destructive. The left claims they want to protect the planet. They're the very ones with all their projects and programs killing the planet. Google says ban the word family just this week. This is here. This is happening. And so they're the globalists killing the nation state. They're the globalists taking over the countries. They're the globalists bankrupting people. So then they say, oh, Alex Jones and Donald Trump and Roger Stone, why they galvanize people, they energize the population to believe in themselves and to believe in self-determination. Let's call them Russians. And now in 2019, in late January, they've made their move. And people think of things as themselves, like, how am I going to do with my bank account? How am I going to do with the other peer pressure group I'm with on this? That's not what it's about. The peer pressure groups, the control arms, the systematic systems are peopled and commanded by a bunch of yes men who then go out and find others who will follow their orders to carry out this system. And this system is a America, freedom, Christian, family, free market, capitalist, ending thing. So fighting it with every fiber of your body is not some heroic action. It's like if somebody pushed your head underwater to drown you and you fought to get to the surface. That's not heroic. That's called life force. And so the one crime I have, the one skill I have, is I got a hell of a lot of life force. And I got a hell of a lot of will. And I'm ready to die. In fact, I'm not just ready to die. Giving into these globalists is unlimited death. I can feel hell on the other side. And in fact, I do this out of fear. There's no way to join them and get out of this. The only thing you can do is resist it. And those of you that have any discernment left will have chills up down your spine. You need to go with God right now. You need to understand you can't beat this by yourselves. You need to ask for Jesus Christ right now. And you need to reach towards God with everything you got. Now, there are those of us that have to stand in the gap to try to get time for people to wake up, and I'm willing to do it. But let me tell you, it isn't fun with this breathing down my neck. So I'm going to tell you right now, folks, you better decide which side you're on. You better do it forever, because there are a lot of evil people that are on power trips that don't see what they're doing, who've turned themselves over to evil. And if you're intimidated by them, let me assure you, you're not going to like where you are as soon as this life ends. The Clintons, the Bushes, the Muellers, the people like this are followers. And they seek to create a world and culture of followers. And that's not what humanity is. We're trailblazers, we're leaders. So I'll tell you again, a lot of social climbers, a lot of cowards are going to look at me and say, look at you, you're under attack. Look at you, you're about to be destroyed. You're weak. And I look at them and I think, God, you poor soul. You don't even see it, do you? As weak as I am, I've got the instinct to struggle like a plant towards the sun, towards God. And you guys have given up on that. And as we blast off to the next level, I feel sorry that a lot of you aren't going to make it there with us. But those of you who could be black, you could be white, you could be old, you could be young, you could be Hispanic, you could be Asian, you could be gay, you could be straight. If you love God and you love justice and you hear what I'm saying, it means you resonate with God. Doesn't mean you're perfect, none of us are, but in the final equation, you love justice and you've decided which side you're on. That's why this is all here. There's not just evil in the world. God made sure that there'd be platforms until the last minute, the last hour, always saying, we're here for you. We love you. We're inclusive. Life is inclusive. Don't go with Satan. And if you don't join with that, then that's your decision. But it's going to become abundantly clear what you face. And, you know, what we're covering here is so important, so big, so intergalactic, so all-seeing, so timeless, so true, so all-encompassing that it's obscene to say, oh, will you please share the video links, the audio links? Will you please tell people about the show? Will you buy products to support us? That everything I do is about a win-win, like fish oil and multivitamins and water filters, air filters. So they push drugs and DMT and PCP and Prozac and Ritalin and liquor and everything else. Everything they push is death at you. And I'm just like, air filters, water filters, vitamins, minerals. Everything I do is metaphysically because it's good for me too. Because that's how I'm charged. It's what I do. I can't cheat. You don't think I don't know the enemy's own operations, all their maps, all their plans. It's a weakness of mine that I won't project into it and actually look into what they do. But I do it. I do it when I have to, and it's not fun. And I'm not complaining. I'm not. Here's the thing. I'm actually weak. I really should look into the enemy's mind more, and I've promised I would. I've not had the will to do it lately, but I'm going to try. Maybe tonight. Maybe tonight. It's really horrible though. You see what they're doing to kids and everybody. It's not fun. I'll just leave it at that. And but I'll do what has to be done. All I'm telling you is we need your prayers. We need your support now, not tomorrow, not next week, not next year. This is it. This is the big push for the decision on a planetary level, whether we are destroyed as a planet or whether we go to the next level. Our spirits, God's already going to divide those up from the good from the bad. But this is an intergalactic quest. It's a great moment to be alive, and I'm just very blessed and very humbled to be here talking to you. And I just encourage you again, the power you have when you get excited and you get focused is unlimited. When you understand the potential you have and when you financially support us, going to InfoWarsStore.com, when you get things you already need, it moves mountains. So I'm judging things right now, whether I stay with level red or I go on the offense on what you do now at InfoWarsStore.com. But I tell you this, individually, I'm not going to back down. It's just when things are so dire, it seems weird to plug selling products, but that's the gas in our tank. If we don't do it, we're dead on the highway. Stay with us. Hour number 4. CBD-rich hemp oil is totally organic, all natural, something God gave us, and it doesn't have THC in it, and it's totally legal in all 50 states. This is where everybody's going. This is what your body actually needs. There are so many different spectrums of this natural oil that comes from hemp, now legal and lawful in all 50 states, that you need to just go research it for yourself. Now, obviously, there's been a giant marijuana legalization craze that Soros has funded the last 10 years. I've not been involved in that. It's a huge bubble. This is not marijuana. There are hundreds of varieties of hemp. This is industrial hemp that has all the good attributes, but not the bad attributes that turn people into potheads in their basements, picking and eating their boogers. This is the good CBD from the organic hemp oil. And there are so many great products that you simply need to go to InfoWarsStore.com and link over to WashingtonsReserve.com, or simply go to WashingtonsReserve.com yourself to look at all the products, to read about the history, and to see the facts for yourself. So 360 win. There are different CBD rich hemp oil extractions for many, many, many different uses. You owe it to yourself to go look at this for yourself, and to also understand it helps fund the InfoWar. People wonder why I haven't gotten into CBD oil. Well, because some of the stuff's got problems, some of it can get you high, and some of it can get you arrested. This is not that. Legal in all 50 states. It's from hemp, not marijuana. It's totally legal. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we can ship to all 50 states right now from the great website, WashingtonsReserve.com.